David Sedaris is an award-winning author, playwright, radio presenter, and public speaker. After growing up in North Carolina, he lived in Chicago, New York, Paris, and Amberley. His New York Times bestselling books include, but are not limited to, Me Talk Pretty One Day, Dress Your Family in Corduroy and Denim, When You Are Engulfed in Flames, and Let's Explore Diabetes with Owls. There are over 16 million copies of his books in print. That's 2 per person in the city of London for a sense of scale. And they're available in 32 languages. He has filled theaters around the world, from the Royal Festival Hall to Carnegie Hall. His short story, COG, was adapted into a feature film. He has received many awards. In 2001, he was Time Magazine's Humorist of the Year. He's been awarded the Jonathan Swift International Literature Prize for Satire and Humor, and has been nominated for 5 Grammy Awards for Best Spoken Word and Best Comedy Album. Closer to home, residents of West Sussex not familiar with his work on This American Life, first as a radio show and then as a podcast, or the BBC program he hosts, may have heard of his efforts at combating litter in the South Downs. I think his piece discussing his obsession with walking and litter picking may be the only reference to West Sussex to appear in the pages of the New Yorker magazine. Now, as is probably obvious by this point, a comprehensive account of David's accomplishments and awards would take more time than we have. His contributions to literature and arts are more than warrant an honorary degree. But there are 2 aspects of his work that particularly resonate with the ethos of our university. First, he is, in the words of a Guardian headline, an icon of indignation. Like many Americans of my generation, I first encountered David's work as a voice on NPR, National Public Radio, sort of our BBC4. His stories of growing up and his observations about the bizarre aspects of life that we just readily accept were unlike anything else on the radio. Especially in those early pre-internet days, millions of alienated misfits around America suddenly had a model of how to navigate life with humor and humanity. Second, David's writing is somehow deceptively sincere without ever slipping into sentimentality. When you read or listen to his work on family, love, sexuality, tragedy, work, or friendship, it is easy to find yourself crying with laughter, only to suddenly find yourself genuinely moved to tears. One way we might describe the University of Chichester's approach to education in creative writing, literature, history, politics, international relations, theology, philosophy, and social work is that we are hoping that students are able to look at the world in all of its beauty and with all of its challenges and to find their way in that reality. David's life and writings are an example of how to do just that. For these reasons and many more, Chair of Governors, I present to you David Sedaris for the award of the degree of Honorary Doctor of Literature.
Until I say these words. David Sedaris, I confer upon you the Honorary Doctorate of Literature of the University of Chichester. Congratulations.
Goodness, that's so kind of you. Thank you so much. I just have a little something I was going to read here. A little thank you. This is quite an honor for someone who went to art school and has taken all of 4 creative writing classes, 5 if you count the month-long one I took at the YMCA after moving to New York City in 1990. It was called Writing Funny, and I signed up because I liked the teacher, a British woman named Frida Garmez. Also, I was lonely and thought this would be a good way to meet people, and it was. One of my classmates, a guy named Mark, I still hang out with some 35 years later. The other was a woman named Marge who had gum disease and died of cancer last year. I mention her gums because I have trouble with my own as well. The difference between me and Marge is that she disregarded her periodontist's advice. He's just making it up as he goes along, she told me over drinks one night, back when I was still drinking. He just wants to squeeze money out of me. 30% of adults have gum disease, and through no fault of their own. For whatever reason, their saliva generates more plaque than most people's. This can work its way beneath their gums and lead to bone loss, which can eventually cause their teeth to fall out. Ick, you're thinking, to which I say, yeah, I know. I've been seeing a periodontist regularly for 25 years. First, a man in Paris named Dr. Geeg, and now a Greek woman in New York. 2 or 3 times a year, Dr. Kougentakis digs beneath my gum line with an electric hook, followed by a regular one. It's just as bad as it sounds. But I like how cheerful she is, and afterwards, my mouth full of blood, I feel super clean. Marge quit going to her periodontist, walked out in a huff. The last time I saw her, she'd lost all her teeth and was wearing dentures, which were too white for her skin tone and bulky, like cow's teeth. I pretended not to notice, and when she brought it up, I said, "Really? Those are fake? I'd have never have known it if you hadn't said anything." I liked Marge, but the story she presented at the YMCA had been written 2 years earlier for another adult education class. After Writing Funny ended, she dragged it to yet another workshop, and another after that. And the thing is, it just wasn't worth all that scrutiny. It wasn't terrible, but if you're hoping to make it as a writer, you have to, well, write. Finish a story, learn from it, and then start another, better one. Over the years, I've met a number of people like Marge, aspiring authors who turn out maybe 8 pages a year. It's like I was with my sculptures in art school, afraid to make something new because it might not be as good as my last thing. For whatever reason, I was able to take more chances with my writing. I mean, it's all kind of the same. I'm not working on a biography of Churchill or even a novel with a dog in it named Churchill. But I'm always working and taking care of my gums. Thus, here I am, receiving an honorary doctorate in literature from your fine university, and smiling. Thank you.